every single morning at 5:30 on the dot, my phone would ring. Steve, this is John Walker. How you doing, man? It's going to be a great day. How you feeling? Yeah, John, I'm sweet, man. He said, every time I call you, I've called you 37 days in a row, and you keep answering the phone like something's wrong. He said, man, when you going to change your attitude? He said, when you wake up in the morning, man, you got a bad attitude, which pretty much explains why you've been having a lot of bad days. And he said, man, I hate that about you, man, because you're such a cool dude. You got so much potential. He said, man, I'm sorry to bother you. And he hung the phone up. Next morning, I'm damn near sitting up in the bed. Hello? Hey, Steve, it's John Walker. I said, hey, John, what's happening, man? What's going on with you, baby? I said, it's Steve Harvey, man. He said, Steve, how's it going? I said, man, I'm having a great day, man. I'm having a great day, John, man. You don't believe it, man. I got some great stuff going to be happening. He said, man, you my man. Click, and he hung up.
You didn't cause the storm. The storm is not your fault. It's not like Peter went in the wrong direction. It's not like this guy knew that this guy was going to pass out on the plane. You did not cause the storm. So stop allowing that voice to accuse you, because Satan is an accuser of the brother, and he will say you brought this on yourself. You're a fool. You shouldn't have never done it. You must have lost your mind. What is it about you that made you think you could do something that big? You must be crazy. You must know storms come to everybody. Anointed people, saved people, unsaved people, backslidden people, whorish people, straight people, gay people, cute people, ugly people, fat, bone-legged people. Everybody has storms. What made you think that you would be exempt from going through storms?
I want to talk to you today about favor in the storm. When we think of favor, we think of something good happening. We received a promotion, we met someone special, the medical report turned around. We know that's the favor of God. But when we face difficulties, things aren't going our way. We're still taking the medical treatment. Our finances haven't turned around. The promotion didn't go through. Doesn't seem like we have favor. We have all these obstacles. But having favor doesn't mean you won't have challenges. Favor is what's keeping those challenges from defeating you. When you're in a difficult time, you may not see it, but favor is what's pushing back forces of darkness. Favor is what's keeping that sickness from taking your life. Favor is what protected you in that accident. If you didn't have favor, you wouldn't still be here. The enemy would have taken you out. You may not recognize it, but you have favor in the storm. Favor taking the treatment. Favor dealing with an addiction. The scripture says God's favor surrounds you. It doesn't come and go. It's with you in the good times and in the tough times. When the Israelites were headed to the promised land, they came to the Red Sea. Pharaoh had just let them go, but he changed his mind, and he and his army came chasing them. The Israelites were at a dead end. They had nowhere to go. Moses held up his staff, and the waters parted. Those 2 million people began to walk through on dry ground. We look at it today, and in hindsight, it's easy to see they had favor. The waters parted. But imagine being there, having to walk between walls of water, not knowing if at any moment they were going to collapse, holding your children tightly, the enemy chasing you, closing in. It was loud. People were panicking, all kinds of commotion. I don't think they walked through calm and collected. They were nervous, afraid, thinking of everything that could go wrong. What if these walls of water don't hold up and we all drown? What if we won't make it through in time? What if the Pharaoh catches us? There were 1,000 things they could have worried about. It wasn't until they got to the other side, until they were back on land, that they began to rejoice. Then they knew they had favor. The truth is, they had favor the whole time, they just couldn't see it. Favor is what was holding back the walls of water. Favor is what kept the enemy from catching them. When we're in the middle of a difficulty, sometimes we don't recognize that we have favor. It's easy to focus on all the things that could happen. What if I don't get well? What if I can't find another job? What if my child doesn't get back on course? You could live worried, losing sleep, panic, or stay in peace. You have favor in the storm. God is pushing back forces of darkness for you. He's not allowing the sickness, the addiction, the trouble at work to keep you from your purpose. There is a force working for you in the middle of the storm that is greater than any force that's trying to stop you.
Quitting guarantees the failure. Once you quit, it rules out any chance of succeeding. The mere waking up every day, putting the next foot in front of the next foot, at least keeps you in the game. And if God is waking you up continually every morning, once God wakes you up, that's a sign from God that He ain't through with you yet. That He has something more for you in store that He hasn't given to you yet. That's why you wake up every day. Because God has more for you. Now, all you gotta do is understand that. Because look at this. The moment God is done, when you served your purpose here, you won't wake up. But if you keep waking up, don't you understand that there's a higher purpose? Your goal in life is just to get into a relationship with God where you can understand the purpose. And it ain't got to match nobody else's. You know, quit trying to be saved like everybody else. You got to get saved for yourself. You know, people all the time, I get questioned as a Christian all the time. I can't believe you're a Christian, you cussing. Well, I'm a Christian that cuss. I'm still a Christian, I believe in God. What you want me to tell you? But if you knew who I used to be, you'd be perfectly fine with this occasional cussing that I'm doing now. You really would. If you knew that I really did, you'd be A-okay with this cussing. But I quit worrying about people a long time ago. People ain't got no heaven for you. People can't save you. And then I was thinking one day, if the scripture is true, that there's none perfect, no, not one. God, no perfect. But there is a heaven.
Everything that I know about God that matters, I learned it not in a concordance, not even in a scripture. I learned it all in a story. When you look around, you may see walls of water. You see opposition, trouble, sickness. It looks frightening, but keep the right perspective. It cannot defeat you. Like the Israelites, the favor God put on your life is going to bring you safely through. The enemy doesn't have the final say, God does. What He has purposed for your life will come to pass. No bad break can stop you. No sickness, no addiction, no person. God is in control. Instead of being frustrated by the problem, worried about your health, upset over the bad break, turn it around. Father, thank you that I have favor in the storm. Thank you that favor is keeping my enemies from defeating me. It's easy to believe we have favor when good things are happening. What I want us to see is we have favor when we're in between walls of water. We have favor when enemies are chasing us. And sometimes we're so focused on the threat and what's coming against us, we don't recognize that without the goodness of God, we wouldn't still be standing. The psalmist said, God has anointed you, He is steadying you, making you strong, and your enemies will not get the best of you. In the middle of that difficulty, you need to remind yourself who you are.
So if the storm had been that bad, how come the water didn't wake up Jesus? But the enemy has a way of amplifying trouble in your mind to make you think that it's worse than it really is, and you panic because the devil knows his storm can't take you out. It's your fear that's going to take you out. And what God is trying to teach you to do, I'm talking to somebody, I don't know who it is, but God is saying, be steady. All hell is breaking loose. Be steady. Your emotions are all over the place. Be steady. Your enemies are everywhere. Be steady.